Well, that was a painful game, Browns fans, coming off that loss against the Raiders. I think my main takeaway was Deshaun Watson. If you actually watch that game, I think you listen to some people talk about that game and put it on Deshaun. If you actually watch that game, Deshaun Watson played well in that game. I think Pro Football Focus recently came out with a pretty high rating for him against the Raiders. Deshaun was there. I think my frustration is who's not there, who's not on the field. Once again, offensive line just seems to had some troubles there. But once again, we are going to play the Washington Commanders this week. A tough matchup, a rising quarterback that we're going to see this week. Eric, let's go to you. A tall challenge, not exactly a team that's just lost to the Panthers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for the first time since the Joe Gibbs days, the football team from Washington or thereabouts is not actually completely pathetic. They have been showing signs of life on offense, and their defense has been aggressive towards their opposing quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels has been a noteworthy 82.1 completion percentage and has had many scoring drives, most of them, albeit field goals, nonetheless still scoring drives, a lot more than the Browns could say about their offense. They do have the running attack of Brian Robinson, who has rushed for over 100 yards in 2 of the last 3 games, and Austin Eckler, who was out last week but has a good possibility of returning this week, is a threat in both the receiving game as well as special teams. Now, for the Browns, a way to combat them and hopefully defeat the Commanders would be kind of mimicking what the Buccaneers did in their opening week, is to outpass them. Their quarterback found the end zone 4 times. I have faith the Browns can do that on their first drive. It's the other however many drives the rest of the game I'm not too confident about. So the blueprint's there. It's always obviously about execution. A couple things that frustrate me or concern me, I guess we'll put it more positively, is the situation with Amari Cooper. He's not making plays, and in fact, he's making plays so poorly that it's causing them to be turnovers for his team. Jerry Jeudy mentioned he got tired throughout the game. David Njoku is still not 100% healthy. He's getting there, but I don't know how close he is. And then I would say something negative about Elijah Moore, but I don't want his dad getting mad at me, so there's that too. A lot going on with the Browns offense, and most of it's not good. Defensively, Myles Garrett is a part-time player dealing with those injuries. I totally understand that. If he goes full board now, he's going to be lost for the season in a couple weeks. The problem is nobody else is doing anything on the field, at least in the front 7, while he is on the sidelines. It's really, really disappointing. And we got the Michael Hall news that he could be back in 2 weeks. He had that situation that happened. I'm envisioning a game plan with a lot of runs and short passes just to move the ball effectively and quickly for the Commanders to start the game and see how our defense reacts, because you saw what happened last week. They just kept forcing the ball down our throats, and we were a shoestring tackle away from giving them, a 90-something yard touchdown and very long drives to the Raiders, to one of the worst rushing teams. I expect them to that be their blueprint. So not a lot of faith. I'll try to be positive, but not a lot of faith from this Browns fan.
Yeah, it was just supremely disappointing this previous game. It could have been different. The Nick Harris phantom hold, or was, whatever happened there. We could be telling a different story about Amari Cooper making that, huge play. The Browns win, and we squeak by a game against the Raiders, but that didn't happen. Drew, why can't we have any margin for error with this team every Sunday?
Yeah, everything has to go exactly correct. And when you can script out the first series like they do, things can go exactly correct. You can have things that you're going to do based on what happens. You're ready to go with all of that. And you know where you're going to turn for the answers as you go through that first series. It is eerily reminiscent of the last time they went through this stupid, and I mean stupid experiment where the head coach calls the plays for an offense he doesn't understand and does not coordinate. The last time they tried that, of course, being 2019 with Freddie Kitchens and Todd Monken. Todd Monken, an excellent offensive coordinator, by the way. Now they've moved off of the Kevin Stefanski offense, which I don't know. I mean, that offense was pretty darn good, and moved into this offense that Ken Dorsey has tried to build explicitly for Deshaun. And yet, the guy who's not coordinating the offense, who didn't install the offense, is the one calling the plays. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I think about why this has never worked before and why the Cleveland Browns are the only team that goes back to this well over and over again. So that's one of my issues with the team. The other thing, and I know we're trying to be positive here, I got to get this off my chest, is I think you're starting to see what happens when you mortgage the future to try to win now. This would have been a different story if they had gotten excellent quarterback play, if Deshaun had played almost all of the 2022 season, and if he had played all of last year, potentially things are different. But now you're talking about your third year in a row without a first-round pick, without multiple third-round picks, multiple fourth-round picks that they gave up. You look at this team now, you get a little bit of injuries, and all of a sudden you need 2 offensive tackles, a guard, a center, a wide receiver, potentially a slot wide receiver. All say something negative about Elijah Moore. That dude's not even on the field as far as I can tell. You have a running back who's hurt and nobody of note to back him up. Jerome Ford's okay, I suppose, but you don't have anything dynamic on this team. And I think a lot of that is manifest in the offense. That's why things have to be perfect. And they're not always. It's the NFL. Things aren't perfect. You have to get some chunk plays to be an effective offense. And they're not doing any of that. The last point here, a fun little stat. The Cleveland Browns lead the league in red zone efficiency. They score a touchdown almost like 85% of the time that they get into the red zone. It's actually remarkable. The Cleveland Browns ranked so far dead last in trips to the red zone per this period. They average 1.5 per game. The average team gets 3 per game, double them. The second worst team in the league averages 2.3 per game. The Browns are single-handedly dragging this average down for the rest of the league. That's how few times they get there. That's such an issue with this offense. They're just incapable of moving the ball. Any one thing that goes wrong totally derails that. And I think there's lots of blame to go around for that. And for the first time, my blame is not with the quarterback from last week's performance.
Oh, thank you. We can agree on that. Browns have added linemen through the draft. Zach Zinter coming in, did a pretty good job against the Raiders. I guess I go back to, once again, like Jed Wills, Jack Conklin, you got to get out on the field. We need you out there. Like, these games are being lost because we are missing you. David Njoku is a warrior out there. Like, he fought through serious burns last year. So I'm not talking to David Njoku. Like, I'm just getting sick of the injuries on the offensive line. You need to go out there and play, just out of patience with this offensive line. I think that's why we're not getting to the red zone. Deshaun Watson maybe finally ready to play after not playing in the preseason. He's ready to play. We need to see the offensive line come in, be ready. We need some people on the field, stay out on the field, and we need to have a turnaround here for the Browns to beat the Commanders.